There are moments in history where the future turns not because of a king's command, not because of an army's strength, but because of a single ordinary person making a choice. A choice sometimes made in fear, a choice made in silence, a choice made with death standing only seconds away. In February of 1943, a teenage girl was given one final offer by her executioners: her life in exchange for names. No weapons, no rescue, no second chances. What she chose instead would echo far beyond the gallows it was spoken beneath. This is not a story about victory, it's a story about refusal, about loyalty, about how a simple decision can leave a giant footprint in history. This is the story of Lepa Radić. Lepa Radić was born on December 19, 1925, in the village of Kaznica near Bosanska Gradiška, in what is today Bosnia and Herzegovina. She came from a Bosnian Serb family at a time when dark shadows loomed over the Balkans. In April 1941, the Axis powers invaded Yugoslavia, toppling the kingdom in just 11 days. A Nazi puppet state was carved out, the independent state of Croatia, where the fascist Ustaše regime targeted Serbs, Jews, Roma, and political dissidents. Lepa's family found themselves under the thumb of this new terror. Like many young people in occupied Yugoslavia, Lepa grew up fast. By age 15, she had joined the communist youth and the resistance. In the late 1941, the Ustaše police arrested Lepa, her sister Dara, and other family members. But the underground partisans intervened, and Lepa and Dara managed a daring escape from prison on December 23, 1941. The girls disappeared into the forests of Krajina and immediately joined the 2nd Krajinski detachment, a unit of Tito's Yugoslav partisans. The partisan resistance in Yugoslavia was unprecedented. Led by the communist partisans under Tito, it grew into Europe's most effective anti-Axis movement. Unlike the Royal Chetniks, Tito's fighters waged relentless guerrilla warfare. They mobilized civilians across ethnic lines in a shared ethnic struggle. By war's end, over 600,000 fighters wore partisan uniforms, and remarkably, about 100,000 of them were women. The partisans even celebrated partisanska, heroines in their propaganda, stressing women's role and gender equality. For Lepa Radić, a rural girl turned guerrilla, this was the world she stepped into, one of forest and mountains, wounded comrades and secret camps. Within the partisan movement, Lepa took on crucial roles. Initially, she served as a nurse, tending to the wounded under harsh conditions. The partisans prided themselves on never leaving the injured behind. Lepa helped evacuate those hurt in battle to safe shelters. In mid-1942, the partisan and Axis armies clashed in the Kozara offensive in northwest Bosnia. German forces with thousands of Ustaše and local militia encircled the Kozara mountain region. Only about 3,500 partisans held the area against roughly 37,000 Axis troops. Lepa and her unit were among those who stood their ground in Kozara's forest. Against all odds, they broke through the blockade, but at a terrible price. More than 25,000 local civilians were killed or sent to concentration camps. This was the crucible that hardened young partisans like Lepa. Over the brutal summer of 1942, she saw villages burned and neighbors massacred, and she understood what surrender would mean for her people. By early 1943, partisans had reorganized and were moving south through the mountains. In January, the Axis launched Operation Wise, aiming to crush Tito's main forces near the Neretva River during what became known as the Battle of the Neretva. The partisans famously evacuated thousands of wounded across the river to safety. Lepa Radić was instrumental in this effort. In February 1943, she helped transport wounded fighters into makeshift shelters far beyond enemy lines on the icy snow-covered roads near the village of Bosanska Krupa. Lepa led a convoy of about 150 civilians and partisans towards safety. The retreat was fraught with danger. On one freezing morning, elements of the German 7th SS Volunteer Mountain Division intercepted Lepa's group near the edge of Bosnian territory. Rather than flee, Lepa took up arms. In the scuffle, she and her group resisted fiercely, a brave rearguard that allowed others to break away. But the numbers were against them. Outnumbered and outgunned, the partisans were overwhelmed. Lepa Radić was wounded and captured by the SS troops. For 3 days, she was tortured in a prison cell in Bosanska Krupa, yet she said nothing. The Nazis interrogated her relentlessly, demanding the names of her commanders and hiding places. She gave nothing. Even as beatings and electric shocks racked her body, her spirit did not break. Finally, on February 8, 1943, she was summoned to stand before a German firing squad, which was later changed to hanging. The sentence was death. Under the Bermuda sky, Lepa Radić was led to the public square. A gallows stood erected. A small crowd watched in silence. German officers offered her a final chance. Spare your life. Just tell us who your comrades are. In that moment, Lepa's decision crystallized the moral core of her story. She refused to give in. With a steely voice visible to all, Lepa spoke her famous words, "I am not a traitor of my people." She vowed that her friends and leaders would emerge victorious in the end. Her calm defiance shamed even the executioners. A Nazi report later noted that the bandit girl hanging in Bosanska Krupa has shown unprecedented defiance. Moments later, the noose was placed around her neck. A German officer called for a final statement. Lepa Radić raised her head defiantly and shouted into the silence, "Long live the Communist Party and partisans. Fight, people, for your freedom. Do not surrender to the evildoers. I will be killed, but there are those who will avenge me." Her voice carried across the winter air, a final statement that even in death she stood with her comrades and her cause. The pull of the lever, the snap of the rope. 17-year-old Lepa Radić died that day. She had looked into the face of tyranny and made her choice. News of Lepa's martyrdom quickly spread through the resistance. Tales of the young girl who refused to betray a cause inspired fighters across the country. After the war, the new Yugoslav government recognized her sacrifice. In December 1951, Lepa Radić was posthumously awarded the Order of the People's Hero of Yugoslavia, the nation's highest honor. She was the youngest person to ever receive it. Statues and monuments sprang up. Schools, streets, and plazas were named for her, and her image was commemorated in textbooks and films. Her memory lives on, not just in official honors, but in the moral lesson her story carries. A simple choice, not to betray others even when threatened with death, made an indelible mark on history. Lepa Radić's life shows how ordinary people can do extraordinary things. She wasn't a mythic figure in a cape. She was a teenage girl whose courage whispered in defiance against the roar of guns. Her refrain, "I am not a traitor," rings as quietly powerful today as it did on that winter morning. Her legacy endures in the spirit of resistance against oppressions. Across the world, her name is spoken on anniversaries of the war, in history books and songs about bravery. In small villages and cities alike, new generations learn that one person's integrity can outlast even the cruelty of fascism. Lepa Radić reminds us that not all heroes wear capes. Some carry only conviction and heart. If you like stories like this, do all to like the video and subscribe to the channel, and comment another hero whose story you'd like us to cover. Until next time, keep the light alive.